Robert John Burke, welcome to An Actor Despairs. How are you doing?
Very well, Ryan. Thanks for having me, bud.
It really means so much you coming here today, especially on a 95-degree New York City day. But when I created the show, we were speaking briefly a little bit, it was exactly for an actor like yourself. I mean, what you have accomplished in your career is so remarkable, and the depth and to be able to work as consistently as you do. You know, I think there's this conception for so many people that aren't in the business that, like, when you're an actor, it's like the Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt. But to do the work that you do, to work with, you know, the Titan, Soderbergh, Scorsese, Tom Fontana, David Simon, and to go in and do both film, TV, it's just exceptional. So thank you for being here today, man.
Thanks, Ryan. You know, you mentioned 95 degrees. So as you're speaking about my career and what's happened, basically it's the same thing that happened today and as I showed up. Do you know what I mean? Those days on 95 degrees and you're like, I don't want to go to this audition. What the fuck am I going to, you know, and it's the same thing. It's in your feet. You show up early, prepared, you know the material. And then, you know, one of my big secrets was when I went in, you know, face to face, because we don't really do that anymore. But do I present as a person that you might want to hang around with for 6 months or 6 weeks or one episode? Am I nuts? Am I somebody genuinely you might want to hang around with? And the other
definitely
the other signal that I gave was I'm so prepared today. We can shoot this thing this afternoon. Do you know what I mean? Never looked at the paper. You know, I'd hold the paper, but so subliminally I'm sending two messages. One, I'm not a crazy human being. And two, I can do this. I have the tools to do this job this afternoon.
Yeah.
And then get out of there. Don't talk.
Totally.
Yes.
I love that. Well, I mean, you seem like such grounded guy. Like, did you grow up in this city?
Yeah, I was a child in Washington Heights. My mother and father emigrated to America from Galway, Ireland.
100% Irish?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Quarter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, the Perez could be too.
I'm Irish and Mexican. That's where the alcohol is. In Italian, so I was doomed to be cursed.
They're waking you up at night. Yeah. That's wild. Very hot-blooded. Should have been a boxer. But
I know.
Ryan.
Yeah.
So that neighborhood was very Irish.
Washington Heights?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, my God. Everybody I went to Catholic school with, their parents were from everywhere in the country of Ireland. And my ear became tuned to the north, the south, the east, the west, because there are different accents and dialects. And, you know, the average person wouldn't hear them, but we heard them, and we imitated them as children. Wow. And then when... 1970, when we were 10 years old, or my father used to say, as the damage was already done, we moved to Long Island to a place called East Northport, and that's where I did most of my growing up. Yeah.
So you were in the city till you were 10,
yeah,
and then you switched.
That's right.
Do you have a conception of that moment in your life when you do?
Very much.
Well, talk to me about the New York days, you know, because obviously you became an actor, but your parents are not artists, right?
No.
So talk to me, like, I'm
going to get that out of the way. The story of when I said to my father, because I think he wanted me to be a policeman in the worst way. Do you know what I mean?
Wait, was he in the...
No, he was a laborer in the refrigeration warehouses on the docks.
Okay.
He was the super of the building, and he was the bartender across the street. So we were having a very stereotypical Irish assimilative experience. So I know he wanted me to be a policeman. And I said one day, like, as I was getting ready to go to college, like, I said, I think I'm going to be an actor. And he said, a fucking what? You know, and I said, an actor. And he looked at me, he goes, we don't do that. I mean, we don't even know anybody who does do that. Like, yeah. And I often say, you know, he'd say, Mary, come in here. What is he? So I think now that I have sons and I'm an artist and, you know, they can do whatever they like. But for him, there must have been a great deal of fear, you know, an actor, you know, like, he had zero point of reference as to what that was. Neither did I, really. But I attached that story to in my senior year of high school, I auditioned for an internship with a theater. Because let me go back even a little more. In my junior year, we were doing an experimental acting class called Living Theater.
Okay.
It was with a teacher, and it was jump improv. And I liked that. I liked the spontaneity.
This was high school?
This was high school.
Wow.
Yeah. And I showed some talent. And I thought, this is so much fun. This is so, what's the word? It just felt great. And there was a guidance counselor who stepped in and looked at my SATs, and he was like, this is not good. I could barely read. I had all these learning disabilities I didn't know about. And so I auditioned for this internship in my senior year, and I got it. Supposed to answer the phone at this place, paint scenery, sweep up. It was called Performing Arts Foundation, PAF Playhouse, LORT, Regional Theater Equity House.
Still there?
No, it's still gone. And some great productions that came through there, great actors. But I had the opportunity to audition for 2 shows, and I got them both. So I threw the broom down, I threw the paintbrush down, and I began to tour the country.
Do you remember what shows?
It was children's theater.
Wow.
It was an educational theater. One was about Eskimos, the other was about First Nations, indigenous. And they gave me $150 in cash every day as per diem.
No way.
They couldn't pay me because I was a student, but they gave me this cash to eat with. And in 1977, I couldn't eat $5 worth of food a day. And so I came home from that tour with literally a couple of shoeboxes full of cash. And I showed them to my dad, and he was like, "What's that?" And I said, "That's what they gave me for acting." And I do this, he said, "Oh, but Jesus, it might not be a bad fucking thing then, like doing acting." And he goes, "You really can make money." And I said, "Yeah, that's what they just gave me to eat. And he was like, "Can you go to college for that?" I said, "Yes." "Where?" And so I went to this place in West Virginia for a year. They gave me a scholarship. I went to Adelphi for the summer session.
Yeah.
Where else? Suffolk Community College I went to for a while. And then ultimately, I remember in 1979 reading the New York Times, and there was an article about SUNY Purchase and mentorship. One teacher is going to take you through 4 years. This teacher must have his own professional life, notwithstanding teaching. He has to be a working actor. And he had also written a book, the projected mentor of the year I would be in. His name was David Garfield. Lovely, lovely, beautiful human teacher, actor. So, without my parents knowing it, or I got my $20 and I filled the application, got my ass up there for 4 different callbacks, I believe.
Wow.
And I got in. And so that's where I went to school for the 4 years, and it was fantastic training. I mean, they were not messing around. The axe swung every Friday. You could be kicked out for being tardy. You could be kicked out for...
So cuts were a thing.
Huge.
Wow.
Huge. Tremendous pressure and anxiety.
For the audience listening, Shea Wiggum went there, Kirk Acevedo, like a lot of legends.
Stanley Tucci. Edie Falco, Wesley Snipes was in my class. Edie and I have known each other since we were in junior high school.
Wow.
She kind of did the same experimental acting improvisorial class I had. I said, "You got to come to Purchase. Price is right." She went to Purchase, and so yeah, it was a good, strong program, and they weren't taking any shit or any lateness or any.
Did you know at the time how good it was? Like not having a barrier.
I had no point of reference for anything in life. I was just kind of like this tumbling weed.
Wow.
Really, I didn't really understand certain things about life. I had no, again, point of reference. We grew up very modestly. I didn't go to restaurants a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, when you speak to artistry, I was, Irish. Son of Irish immigrants, an artist, a twin. I have a twin brother. So they're always kind of like...
Identical?
No, fraternal.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Bill. And
is he your stunt double?
No. He's
Robocop.
Could very well have been. so all these kind of sensitized radar dishes, when you grow up
Yeah.
with those elements, and I think that informed, how I like create roles and approach characters and stuff like that.
From them cracking the whip, and like it sounds like it was really intense.
It was intense.
Do you feel like that made you rise to the occasion, or was it overwhelming? Kind of that being your primary actor training.
It was both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a kind of a consideration at the time. I drank a lot, and that was not good. That was not.
It's my NYU days. I get it.
That was not complimentary to the process there. It was just completely destructive to what was happening. And my dad was very ill at the time, and he subsequently passed away in my senior year, and that kind of broke me psychologically. And
did he get to see you perform?
He saw me perform in one play.
Which one?
It was called The Lower Depths by Maxim Gorky.
Wow.
And anytime Wesley Snipes came on it was this kind of funny, but it's a drama ostensibly.
Yeah.
But within Tolstoy, within Chekhov, there's humor. And he thought Wesley was the funniest guy in the world. Wesley would give these lines, he could tear the place in half at like the will,
Wow.
And my dad is like in the fourth row, like laughing at Wes, and I want to look at him and go, Dad, what about you?
Yeah.
So I do remember that vividly. So he did get to see me the one time. And so he went from, he was always very supportive. You know, when I first started taking acting classes, he would drive me to them and he'd be like, get out. So, because I often think of him that he had no point of reference. He had no idea what I was doing. We watched the television, and I think he went to 2 movies in his life: Battleground and Jaws. That was it.
Wow.
And so you're trying to drag the lineage, the history, of your family's direction, and life energy in a different direction entirely.
Yeah. And as you were there, did you kind of start to already lock in, like, this is it for me, this is what I'm doing?
No.
Because I think now, not to like date it, but like now you can literally go online, TikTok or whatever, like, how do I become an actor? And take this class, do this,
Good luck with that.
Yeah, because it's crazy.
All of this, the prospects of TikTok and influencers, and I've been doing this 35 years.
Yeah.
I'll put that against your influence.
100%.
Your influence is not going to last very long because it's not predicated on anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean it's vapid.
Yeah, it's so hollow.
I don't begrudge anybody their path, but certainly, and I don't really find anything terribly compelling or interesting about it either.
Me either.
Influence what? Like me? Are you influencing me?
Nothing's being influeed.
To do what? To buy that? I'm not buying. We used to call it commercial. I don't really understand it or accept it.
I only say that in the sense of, like, the access portal being the web to, like, find information about what to do. Like, at the time, then when you graduate, it was kind of binary at the time. It was LA or New York, wasn't it?
Very much. Well, when I graduated,
did they have Showcase at
yeah,
Purchase?
Yeah,
Oh, they did. Talk to me about
the League
that.
of Professional Schools, and you were obliged to, I think, prepare one scene. Yeah, one scene, and here's William Morris and.
They brought the big ones.
Well, we were at Juilliard. We would come down there, Carnegie Mellon, Juilliard, Yale, and here they come. And now for the Purchase kids, and here we come, and then you went out and checked this board. What agent wanted to meet you. Horrible. Not for the ones who were selected, but for the ones who were not.
Yeah.
Just so destructive. I still remember it. And so I did get a good response, and subsequently signed with an agent and a manager, and then promptly quit acting for 6 years. Yeah.
Wow. Talk to me about that.
So we'll go back to the drinking thing.
Yeah. Please. Yeah.
And I was heartbroken about my pop, and the drinking was kind of working as an analgesic or trying to anesthetize the pain. It wasn't working. It just wasn't working, and so I made a decision that I was not going to continue doing that, and seek help, which I did, and then I realized that I couldn't stay sober and also do the acting. It was one master or the other. You know what I mean? And so I decided to build a foundation in sobriety, and I went to work as a plaster, painter, carpenter, bricklayer, stone, mason. I was a bouncer at a club called Nell's downtown on 14th Street. I taught high school educational enhancement program for 3 years, but mostly contracting. And the contracting started very low. It ended up very nicely, but it started very
I'm sure.
humbly and modestly. Like a day like today, I remember being on the Bowery, bringing 22-foot pieces of lumber up 6 flights of stairs to build the deck on the roof of a, one at a time, or bags of cement because we were pointing the bricks in Harlem on these chimneys, or buckets of flashing to reflash a roof by hand. So I told my wife the story on the way in that my friend Paul Schultz, he's an actor, we were coming home from a job where we were tarring, flashing. We were so filthy. And I was on the L train crossing town, and I took my hat off like this to do something, and somebody put $1 in it. And we looked at each other. That's how, I just looked, I said, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah.
We literally went on our hands and knees, tears coming out of our eyes, laughing, just like, oh, dude, we're bad. It's bad. This is so bad. We were just trying to do the next right thing. And make our way. And we did, but I'll never forget that.
When thinking about this, and I also want to ask you something if you're comfortable talking about it, but was this a good time in your life because you were starting to get sober and you had these, interesting experiences, or was that a really challenging?
It was a full time because my heart felt full. My soul was getting lighter. I started to see, when I was working security at this club, all these big names would come in there, and I saw a lot of drinking and drugging and emptiness. And I'm not judging anybody, but I'm just making observations about what I saw. And then I just said, if I know, so my wife even said to me, she was my girlfriend at the time, are you ever going to act again? I said, I really don't know, because I didn't want to be a slave to it. In my psyche, I wanted to be able to take it or leave it. It's art.
Totally.
Celebrity is not art.
No.
Influencers are not art. There's no artistry. So it had to cost me something, and I said, let me just turn my back on it. And it kept coming after me in a way. Hey, Rob, we'd like you to do this. We'd like you to do this. And then Hal Hartley, who was a filmmaker,
at
SUNY Purchase, called me.
You have a movie coming out soon with him, don't
Yes,
you?
yeah.
We'll get to there at the end. Also, just quick question while you're speaking about it, because it at least spoke to me, and selfishly I want to know, is do you think the needing to stop acting for that 6 years while getting sober, did acting and drinking play a part in each other when because at least for me, I know in the 2010s, before I would go to audition, sometimes I would do a shot. You know what I mean?
No, I never. I only drank once in a class. I was playing Jamie Tyrone.
Yeah.
And there's actually a picture of that moment when me and my scene partner were preparing to do scene work. Good long day's journey and tonight. And there was some weird, twisted, I don't even know how I bought into it, romanticism about drinking and actor, but I bought into it. You know what I mean? Thinking that being a drunk, being this, that, the other, ne'er-do-well, fighting, that makes me interesting. It does not make me interesting. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make me more compelling.
Totally.
It just is you take a 2x4 and you bash it over your head. Aren't I interesting? It's self-inflicted wounds, I was drinking because I was in pain. And that's the way I kind of look at it. But no, I never drank before an audition. I remember one night I was auditioning for some Shakespeare thing. I have a lot of Shakespeare. It's still in there. But this night, this is before I stopped drinking, I decide I'm going to learn this monologue. And I'm going to do it tomorrow for Joseph Papp or somebody. So I learned this monologue over a bottle of whiskey or something. And I'm like, yeah, I got it. And I go in the next day. Long story short, short, I show up at the place, I sign in, and I hear the guy ahead of me. He's killing it. I'm like, holy shit, I got out of it.
Oh, no way.
Just left. I was on the street going, what was I thinking? Like,
Oh, my God.
But I was like, should I switch up and do Benvolio? Like, I don't know. But,
Amazing.
yeah, so...
you mentioned you felt a draw back to it. And so in the 6 years, it seems like it was a long time. Like, did you keep open tabs on your reps, or were they kind of like, hey, that's not going to...
No, I shut it all down.
Wow.
There was one manager, she was wonderful, and she only had like 10 clients, and they were big names.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to take 6 weeks off. And she's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Like this. And she sent me in for a couple of meetings with a couple of people. I remember Oliver Stone sat across the table from me and said, are you okay? And I was like, huh? And he goes, are you okay? And I was like this that man asking me if I'm okay. It's a little ironic.
Yeah.
But
totally.
I wasn't okay. And I said, no, I'm not okay. Because I think he could see that I was not okay.
Yeah.
We didn't have to extrapolate on that. But yeah, so that was a tumultuous time in my life. Hal Hartley calls me. He's like, are you dead? Are you in jail? What are you doing? And I said, no, I haven't had a drink in like 5-6 years, and I'm building a roof deck on Astor Place. He said, well, I have a film. It's called The Unbelievable Truth. We're going to shoot it in 11 days it'll take, and I'd like you to play the lead in that movie. And I said, okay. And I had never did a film. Really, I did little short films at SUNY.
Yeah.
And we shot this movie in Lindenhurst, Long Island. It was Edie Falco's first film.
Wow.
Adrian Shelley. And so then I went back to work contracting. And he called me from the Toronto Film Festival. He said, we sold the movie. You're going on a press tour.
Wow.
And he sold the movie to Miramax, which was... They were distributors at that time.
Yeah. And
then the next thing you know, we were, at Sundance and here and there. And the movie was very warmly received. And, that set Hal up to do his next film, Trust. And then his third film was called Simple Men. And I did that one also. And I think I did a little thing in Flirt. And I did a film called No Such Thing with him in Iceland. So, I mean, if he called me right now, I'd say...
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. That's your guy.
Yeah, he really is. He gave me that polished kind of, like you would say they were art house indies, but it was mindful. It was funny. It was, literate.
Films that matter. The ones that
somehow.
the business has seemingly forgotten to make now.
Gone.
Yeah.
What is that? He'd make these, literary references, and I don't think anybody could place those.
I'm sure.
Days. But every once in a while, you run into somebody. His films were shown in film schools. That'll show you, as a barometer as to what good, solid filmmaking can be. Doesn't have to have crane shots on this. It's just needs a good story, good cinematography in terms of motion. And good performances and music and all, but
and for the audience listening, just to kind of like put a timeline, are we talking now into the 90s now? These films coming out, or
yes, the first one we shot in I think 89, and it came out in 90, and then the second one I think I shot with him in 92 or 93, and then in 2000 we were in Iceland shooting. No Such Thing. I remember he told me, he said, hey, listen, Julie Christie is going to be in it. And I was like, what? And he said, and Helen Mirren. I'm like, what?
What?
And Sarah Polley. And I was like, are you kidding me? And he goes, no. And I said, yeah, no, send me the script. These are the hard copy scripts. So I get the script and I open it and I'm playing the monster. He goes, you're the monster. And I'm like, okay. I think I'm some type of monstrous human. No, I'm a monster. And I'm reading it, and it says, on page 2, the monster breathes fire. And now I'm looking for cameras in my house. I'm like, what is this? The monster. This is not a Hal Hartley film. What is this? Well, the monster does breathe fire in the movie. Rollicking, funny, poignant story. it's an indictment of humanity
Yeah.
and celebrity also, I should say. So it was a lot of fun, and in Iceland with
I love that.
Julie Christie, Helen Mirren, and Sarah Polley, who was the lead. She was just phenomenal.
She's filmmaking now, primarily, right?
She certainly
Yeah.
is.
I thought so.
Like, she's got those little golden statues she could beat you in the head with.
I mean, then once you got back in the business, I mean, your 90s were incredible. I mean, like, talk to me about something like crazy like Robocop 3. How did that happen?
Somebody had a stack of headshots, and they just kept covering this part. And when they got to mine, they're like, wait, oh yeah, he could do it. That's my joke.
That's
I
crazy.
think I looked like Peter Weller at the time. I had a lot of movement training, and they reached out, and I was like, yeah, sure. Oh, no. What happened was for 8 months or so, or 9 months, I said, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Doing art house indies, I did, the second film was Ramblin' Rose, Laura Dern, Robert Duvall. I was like, I'm not doing Robocop.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah. And
which is normal now, but I'm sure in the 90s, that 3 was insane.
3?
Yeah. It was like Back to the Future is
3
the
of
only
anything
other
is-
one I can think of.
And like anything else, one day, they
Yeah.
make you an offer and you do it.
The
And
offer you
it's
can't refuse, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the money and I'm going to put it into independent film, which I did in a way. But so I did it. It was early on. I learned a lot.
I bet.
I learned a lot in terms of special effects. And it was just at the cusp of the old school effects.
Oh, that like analog digital blend.
Well, where you actually feel the explosion,
Oh,
that kind
wow.
of stuff. It was like they had stretcher bearers for the stuntmen on that movie because everybody was getting hurt. Everybody was getting hurt.
Oh, man.
I was just like,
That's why those movies look so cool, because they were just so dangerous, dude.
I have stories, many stories of that movie of getting hurt, and that's why I'm very cognizant and conscious of safety on sets because
Yeah.
I've seen it all, and it's all been done to me.
Yeah. Was that an acting challenge to kind of be limited?
No,
But
monosyllabic,
Yeah.
cyborg, no.
Yeah.
When they took the face piece off and I was in all the armor, I would do all of Shakespeare's histories, because I was in the armor. That would be fun. Everybody's like standing around like, what's he talking about? But no, it was just a good experience. My first day in the trailer on Robocop, I remember looking out the window like, holy shit, how does this work? And so many people, because this was my third film.
yeah.
And
That was your third film?
yeah.
Wow.
I had an assistant. The assistant goes, can I get you anything? I was like a water? And he comes back with 5 cases of water. I'm like, oh, I get it.
Wow. That's pretty nice.
Times 5, eh? So that was all new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was neither here nor there. I tried to do my best. People said, oh, are you going to interpret this differently? No. Peter Weller did
it worked.
fucking great job. I'm going to try to imitate what the fuck he did so
Totally.
hard. It's like, no, there's no room for interpretation. It's consummate. I don't even think you should be fucking doing a sequel. But
Yeah.
and the storyline was a little lackluster, I suppose. And then the studio tells you what to say. That's
I'm
hilarious.
sure.
Like, this
On the press tour.
got it. It was a kinder, gentler Robocop, and that was a rip-off of something that George Bush, the first one, Herbert Walker said. A kinder, gentler society.
Got it.
Everybody's saying kinder, gentler, so they had me say that about, the through line of this third Robocop, because the second one was horrendous. It was just like so mean-spirited, people blowing drugs into their neck, and
It got dark.
dark very quick.
Yeah.
Quick, yeah.
So then when that happens then, and obviously you said that was your third thing, in the 90s, like, I was born in 1990, but I'm so nostalgic for that time because it was just like, it was like a really kind of healthy industry and the films were beautiful. And, as you were kind of coming up, obviously television existed, but we get to like, a 99 Sopranos and Oz type thing. Talk to me about when you got off that project. What did you start to have a little bit of autonomy in what you wanted to do?
In terms of autonomy, I've always had autonomy. You know why? Because no one fucking cares what I do. Like, that's, my mother. Like, that's about it.
Yeah.
So, it's like, I never really had a team. I had an agent who I tried never to bother, and that's true to this day.
I feel you.
And so I'd say the only person who cares what I do is my mom. And there was no, a series of a boardroom with lots of people going, he mustn't do this project. No, fuck.
Yeah.
I kind of did what I wanted to do, and jobs would come, and after doing Robocop, I had a kind of a tough experience on that physically, and some things happened with, a producer on that, and I was not in the wrong. One day I just said, I'm not showing up for the forced call. We're all sleeping. We're all sleeping because he's tripping over. He's, everybody was sick. My back. I'm not even going to go into it, but heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Yeah.
So I like the autonomy of no one cares what I do.
Yeah.
Still, it's like, and so artistically, you're free. You're never beholden. It's like, what is he? He's a monster, and he's an alcoholic, and he lives on an island off the coast of Iceland. Fuck yeah, I'll do. I think the way I look, I've always been given these authoritarian roles.
Like the hunky authoritarian is kind of.
Well, thanks, Ryan.
Yeah. Good looking guy.
Well, but that's fun.
Yeah.
I would go into ensemble episodics, special victims unit, and play the heavy. And I'm coming in there to rattle the cage of Mariska Hargitay and Chris Maloney, and it was fun. Coming in being like, the guidance counselor, no fun. Coming and going, you fuck, acting at each other, and that was always a rush to me. And I loved those two. I loved acting with Christopher and Mariska because they were always just turning it up, and I got to...
In the apex of the show, your ride on that was like, when that show was the big... it's still huge. It's the only show I've done.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to that crew. They brought me back 3 times.
Wow.
But
to that end, I remember auditioning 4 times, and they said, yeah, no. And I was like, what? Like, one was like this, drunken, mean Irish patrolman, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that is me. Like, that was my life. And no, we're going to keep you for something better.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing that and just being like, trying to negotiate that in my heart.
Yeah.
And saying, I don't believe you. So, and then ultimately they did bring me back for 30 episodes.
Yeah.
So, when you're getting callbacks on certain shows like that, 1, 2, they want you in the show. They just don't know where yet.
Totally.
So don't be discouraged by I had a representative who used to say, well, your stock is going up. We're not cashing out now. We're not putting more in, but your stock is going up because they're calling for you.
Totally.
And I always took that to heart and said, oh, okay, I understand that, because I did the best I could on an audition. That was one thing I learned very early on, was hyper prepared. Because then once I leave the room, thank you, goodbye, I can walk down on that street knowing I did everything I possibly could.
Yeah.
I hated going down. I was like, fuck, I should have fucking prepared more. That very rarely ever happened to me. You know what I mean? You go in, you slam them. The 2x4. Yeah. And I always had the concept of showing them what they want.
Yeah.
You don't know what you want because I haven't been in the room yet. I'll fucking show you what you want. And it was this not egotistical or overbearing. To me, it was artistic.
Yeah.
I'm going in there and I'm having fun and I'm fucking risking. I'm just going to let it fly. And you're going to go, well, that's not what we're thinking at all for the role. But God damn it, we're giving it.
Yeah.
So that, and I would sink or swim by that. I got jobs and I lost jobs, I suppose, because I just saw it. I heard, when we read material, we cast it, we light it, everything in our head while we're reading it. And is it definitive? Is it compelling, what I'm doing here?
Yeah.
And then just letting it fly. It's surprising myself.
Before we fully jump into the 2000s, your 90s were obviously we talked about Robocop, but you worked with like Scorsese, right?
No.
I thought you did a Stephen King thing.
Oh, I did the lead in the movie Thinner.
I thought he produced that. Was that?
Maybe he did. I don't know.
I could be wrong. I thought I saw that on IMDb.
Thinner was a day like today. It was 98 degrees. It was a Friday. Robert, they'd like to see you for the lead in a Stephen King movie. I'm not fucking going to get a lead in a Stephen King movie. I'm going to Fire Island, bro. I got to get a 4 o'clock train. I'm out of here. But I go. And I had nothing to lose. And I go in and I read, and I'm, reading, and the casting guy goes, you just look like you were 300, 400 pounds to me. I don't know what you did. I'm not.
Yeah.
I was like, well, thanks. Out the door. Call back. Do what you. That's the other thing about callbacks. Do exactly what you did.
Yeah.
Don't variate on theme. And I did the same thing, and I kept showing them what I thought it was. You know what I mean? I read the book by that time, and finally, in my final callback, I think it was the 4th time they had seen me. It was Steven and a bunch of his guys, and like the director was like back over there. And he's like, that's remarkable. And I said, what? Because you look like you're very heavy. And I was like, oh. So it was funny because I got the job, and I never thought in a million years I would get, because there were these big names who were going to go for it. One of them was John Candy.
Wow. So they didn't really know what they wanted, it seems like, when they were casting it, or
they wanted a big actor who was going to lose weight.
Got it.
As opposed to a thinner actor who was going to have to put on, fat suit and everything like that. Big guy suit. And there were all these other undertones due to AIDS, due to John Candy. Stephen King had this dual purpose for getting John to do the role. One was that he's an amazing actor, and the other was to get him to lose weight.
Yeah.
If it takes 2 years, well, this is what I heard.
Got it.
And John said no. So yeah, that was another one, up at 1 o'clock in the morning, in the makeup chair at 2. Wow. You get out of the makeup chair at 7 a.m. and you shoot 14, 16 hours and wash, rinse, repeat. So in terms of professional muscles, showing up.
That's your Juilliard right there.
Well, that's, there's no excuses. You're never sick. You're never late. You're always kind.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I think that my career has afforded me, is just that type of discipline.
Yeah.
And then contractually I was obligated to lose 20 pounds while we were shooting, which I did, on a treadmill, on a high protein liquid diet.
Wow. Amazing experience after that?
No, that one almost killed me. I mean, just Jesus, it was just excruciating. And the movie didn't turn out very well. I met a lifelong friend, Joe Mantegna.
Well, tell me, obviously you had these leads and you had these other incredible projects going on, and as you start to move into the 2000s, whether, you mentioned you didn't like bothering your agent, was there a time where you're like, kind of calibrating, like, am I going the Al Pacino path here, or am I going to keep doing this, like, journeyman, did you have a strategy, I guess would be the question.
There was never a strategy.
You liked working. Great. I love that. And as the landscape started to shift, because like I know you did an episode of Sopranos, I think you did a stint on Oz. Like, did you start to kind of like talk to me about your selection process, or what interested in you? Because you've done so much amazing work, it's gonna almost be impossible for me to list it all off.
Yeah, I mean, just the volume. I would go to Los Angeles, and I couldn't catch a vibe there.
Did you ever live there for
2 months?
2 months.
I gotta get out of here.
Same experience here.
It breeds isolation. If you forget where you are, you just look at the sign on the hill. All those tropes, all those stereotypes. I was a kid in New York City, and we would watch Kojak, and like that's not New York City. That's a backlot. Like this, and then all of a sudden you see it, and it's like, and words like Laguna Vista. It's like it's just I
takes you out.
Can't vibe.
Yeah,
it takes me right out. And so I know my place. I know where I get a vibe, or I don't.
Yeah.
And I stick with my vibration. I took care of my mom for 20 some odd years. She was blind. She was handicapped. So I wasn't going far away from her. All her doctor appointments, but I was always lucky because I went from Oz to Special Victims Unit to...
You and Maloney met on Oz first? Or?
Yeah.
Wow.
We had the same agent at the time. And...
Tom Fontana did the show.
Yeah. Tom was great.
Yeah.
Tom hired me for...
Dean Winters is a friend.
Yeah. Dean was the man. We had a lot of fun. Dean was with that same agent.
Yeah.
And so we were in New York, and they were doing this hard-hitting stuff, hard-hitting drama. And I got in there as an FBI agent who would come in and interrogate people. I once said to Tom Fontana, I said, I don't solve anything. What? I said, I don't solve any cases. He goes, so what? And I was like, but I'm an FBI guy. I'm interrogating him. He goes, we just like seeing you. It's fine. Like this. It's like, why am I worried about solving any case?
I love that.
Tom was very good to me. He was a real supporter. I did a pilot with him called Family Brood about the New York City Fire Department. Didn't get picked up, but
that was pre-Rescue Me?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
And then Gossip Girl came along, and I was like, that was the only role I never bought myself in. I always wished I could do that one over again, because I think I grew up so modestly, to put it nicely.
Yeah.
To play a billionaire, I was playing a billionaire. I didn't know how to behave.
I thought you were great in that.
I didn't know how to behave.
I don't think anyone would have thought. It's like one of these actor things that were so, but you were, I mean, like, from what...
it was just so, I'll tell you a quick story. We're having a dinner party. There's a famous couple of actors in there, and my son is like 7 or 8. He goes, hey, Dad, on that show Gossip Girl? And I was like, yeah? Like this, because I don't know what he's going to say. He goes, like on that show, and the other actors are like listening like this. And he goes, on that show? I go, yeah. He goes, so like on that show? I go, yeah. He goes, why do you talk like this? And like somebody spit, soda out, and then wine or whatever. And I was like, because Daddy doesn't know how to do teen melodrama. Daddy grew up super poor. But I had a good time on it. I mean, like, you get dressed up in clothes. You're like, hello, Lily,
And when television was booming, I mean, that was so big, that show. Were you balancing SVU, Rescue Me, and Gossip Girl?
4 shows.
What was the fourth?
SVU, Gossip Girl, Rescue Me, and Person of Interest.
Wow.
And Army Wives. So I would get on a plane on Sunday night, go down to Charleston, South Carolina, bang out 3 days there, get back here. I did like 5 shows with a sliding ruler. How many episodes of? I think I did 16 of. Anyway, it was working out. Did
it feel amazing just to be that busy, or was it overwhelming? Talk to me about balancing that.
No, it's just discipline. You want to do this?
Yeah.
Everybody thinks it's glamour. It's this. It's that. It's not this. Hey.
Yeah.
It's not that. It is not that. It is. It's preparation. One thing I could say is, if I could do anything differently as a father, as a human, as an artist, as an actor, is to have less anxiety. I always had a lot of nerves. You know what I mean? Before everything.
I would never guess that about you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Terrible. My wife said, you have the job, bro.
Yeah.
You've done 10 episodes.
You've done like 30 of SVU.
Well, so like, pump the brakes. It's going to be okay. Yeah, but, and sometimes I would have exposition, like 2 or 3 pages, and I would call it my Gatling gun, like nobody, a guy once, we're sitting around on SVU, and he's like, well, my character, and I was like, oh no. Don't talk about your character. Just say the fucking words.
Yeah, no one cares.
No one cares.
Yeah.
And to convey that, when I got in there, it was like a Gatling gun. I was just spitting it out. And they would be like, wow, do you need another one? Nope. Boom. I just gave that director an hour extra.
Totally.
He had an hour and 45 minutes. We did it in 45 minutes. Bob, I'm good, bro. I ain't Marlon Brando. He ain't getting so.
It's so true.
So that... When we did Rescue Me, you'd get like 1 or 2 takes.
Yeah.
And that was the Marlon Brando line. It's like, somebody would come in and is like, cut, yeah, good, we got it. And the guy'd like, can I have 1 more take? I mean, it's like, 1 more take. Who the fuck are you, Marlon Brando? Come on.
Yeah.
So they would move on very quickly on that show. That was another show that was just so much fun. It was
Rescue Me specifically.
Control
Yeah.
of Chaos.
Did you know Dennis before?
I didn't really. I knew of him. I respected him. I loved his comedy.
Yeah.
No Cure for Cancer. So his parents are both from County Kerry, Ireland. My parents are both from Galway, Ireland. So there were things I intrinsically knew about his upbringing that were the exact same as mine. And so we got along on this level always, I think, as friends, as men, as artists. And he's another guy. He's just tremendously good to me and generous to me. I was not able to do a show that he's just doing now. But he put me on the show as his cousin Mickey, who was a Catholic priest, alcoholic, gets kicked out of the church. He becomes like the family consigliere, but he's a mess himself. So so working with Dennis was great, and so I was you're playing a general, then you're playing a corrupt cop, then you're playing a this. And it was like this.
And then you moved into like a love interest even, right, on SVU?
Oh, on SVU.
Yeah.
She grabbed me one day, she goes, "You're going to be my love interest." And I'm like, "That's not going to fucking work. I'm the most hated character on this show." She goes, "No, it'll work. It'll work. If I say it works, it works. And if she says it works, it works." And so, my character, Ed Tucker, was the internal affairs guy, always going after our heroine. And so, we start to date on the show, and the fans went like, "No fucking way," like this. And some of them liked it. Some of them went with it. I say
that's how you know it's good, because everyone goes one way, then it's like, I don't know.
That stuff to me, like fandom, makes me like, but it exists.
Yeah,
it's a real thing.
I'm sure, especially with Gospel Girl and SVU. Yeah.
People have, an investment in the storytelling, as they would a million years ago, sitting around a fireplace.
Totally.
The oral tradition of storytelling. And when she and our characters got together, there were quite a few people who I could be walking down the street. One of the ticket ladies would be like, "Yo, be nice to my girl Olivia." I'm like, "I am. I'm really." But I think Mariska, more than any other actor, I just always had a rush, acting with her, and it was always the writing was good. I would be interrogating her and trying to nail her, not sadistically, but just in terms of I do my job professionally. There's always this professionalism in terms of the police department we were portraying, and bad cops. There's bad cops. You need good cops to go after. So we were always investigating that, and I could never nail her, never arrest her. But I thought the writing was always good for my character.
Yeah,
so it was fun.
That's amazing. And talk to me, because obviously you're working so much while the 2000s are going on. Were you ever still doing acting classes at all, or working with an audition coach, or was it really just
No, I didn't like the anxiety and the nerves that auditions gave me, but I liked the process of it. I liked going into a room. I loved going into the room.
I miss that part so much.
So do I. My oldest son now is on the path, and to go on tape. It helps that he's a filmmaker, and his stuff looks
amazing.
And he can act. He has tremendous talent, I think, and he's class after class after class after teacher after teacher. I said, "You're not just walking in here, bro," and he listens quite attentively. So he's studying, and his stuff is getting better. He's getting callbacks. But the going in the room, for me, was always advantageous in terms of securing a role. And then you begin to understand their job. The casting people, the director has somebody in mind, the studio has somebody in mind.
Totally.
The network. It's very daunting to be the one who's selected. I used to always think that people say, "How do you deal with the rejection?" And I'd say, "What rejection?" And they'd say, "The rejection in the business." I said, "There's no rejection." Nobody ever called me and said, Bob, we fucking hate you.
Yeah.
You're not the one, buddy. We are rejecting." Nobody calls you
point.
to that.
Yeah.
They're not. It's not a business of rejection. It's a business of acceptance.
Totally.
You're accepting this person.
Yeah.
There's no energy coming to you. So you suck. You're in the wrong business. You should quit. No, there's nothing like that.
Yeah.
It's just, I got an idea. Why don't you keep going? If it you seem to have an instinctual affirmation that I think I can do this. I think I have some talent. I show up on time. The person said that was really good, and I believe them when they said. So now I'm on this path, and it's only maybe a matter of time, sooner or later, where they say, yeah, we accept the work you're doing here. We want that work in our show. But they're never calling me and going, I reject you.
Yeah.
No one's ever done that in 35 years to me. So where's the fucking rejection?
Totally. No, it's important to say that.
It's perspective.
Yeah.
But I honestly, when somebody said the rejection, I'm like, what rejection? I literally imagine somebody calling me in my house going, we reject you. Like, that doesn't happen in this business.
Totally. Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, I guess, I've had so many actors on this show that have done a lot of procedural, episodic type work, and, it's the quintessential golden handcuffs is the type of thing that gets thrown out there. But you were on like 4 different ones at a certain time. How did you keep it fresh? Or because you were shifting genres, was it always just fresh to you because you got to bounce from world to world?
That's exactly right.
Got it.
The shifting of genre kept it fresh. I remember I was doing Army Wives, playing a general, and then I played a general that year for Spike Lee, and then I played another general in a movie called HBO series called Generation Kill.
Yeah, David, one of the best.
Yeah.
Mattis, right?
General Mattis.
Yeah.
And I had like 2 scenes, and I said one of them was just like, I'm gonna fucking kill everybody in this scene. I'm just gonna just try and take everybody's head off. In Africa, Namibia, 2:00 in the afternoon. It's so windy, nobody can hear anything. It's like action. Like this. I was like, fuck yeah. And I made lifelong friends on that one.
Mark Menchaca did the show.
Just
great. Yeah.
Great dude, solid as a rock.
Awesome actor.
And there was a consultant, Rudy Reyes.
Who was the real guy, right?
The real guy.
Yeah.
I'm still in touch with him.
Wow.
And I give good general. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? There's a thing called command presence in the military and the first responders, and I don't know why I do that. Have a career of yelling at people, fucking scaring them. Let's say, because I'm not like that. Well, I'm not like that a lot in real life. I can get like that, but there's artistry in it. If you're really holding the mirror up to these men or these characters. And trying to portray, especially with the military, you want to do it absolutely right.
Yeah, you remind me of like Ed Harris. You guys are just so good, at that, like, charismatic and just so engaging that it doesn't even. Some people do it and they come off like a dick, and I don't think
it's hard.
Yeah,
because when you're doing it, you're like, oh, fucking. You want to talk about imposter syndrome? Play the head of the United States Marine Corps.
It's so interesting you say that.
It's like 10 guys like, okay, actor boy, hit it, motherfucker.
Alec Baldwin was my teacher.
Oh.
And he told me when he did Glengarry Glen Ross, he was just so insecure coming in and yelling at those guys. And like you watch that, you would never guess that.
He's the what's the word?
Steals it? Yeah.
You want to go in and talk about a sales killer?
Yeah.
Look at that performance.
Totally.
But he's over there sweating bullets.
Yeah.
Listen, I think a lot of times the artistry is predicated on that.
Yeah.
I got to get this done right. I got to do it's caring.
Totally.
About doing it. And sometimes the caring gets away from you and you start to project and live in the future. How's it going to go? And that fucks you up in the present. So you just got to kind of keep a handle on that.
As we move into the 2010s and you were doing this authoritative thing incredibly well and you're amazing at it, was there ever like some roles you chose to like, I just want to get away from this? Like, was there ever...
the old expression, typecasting.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob.
Well, you know what they say, it's better to be typecast than not cast.
The operative word is cast.
Yeah.
You're asking me if I'm worried about being cast. No, I'm not. Sometimes it can present itself. They're like, Bob, they'd like to see you as a Marine Corps general in this bullshit show.
Yeah.
It's like, well, send them fucking tape. I'm not like, 11 pages I got to do for them? Yeah, great. That gets you a little wacky sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm not at a place in my career. I don't really have a career. I go from job to job, right? So if they want to, sometimes they get a little prickly. And I'm like, dude, I'm not learning this much shit for that.
Yeah.
Send them some tape. And I don't mean to be ungrateful or anything like that, but at a certain point, you're like,
Wait, I mean, as all of this work was happening for you, were you ever interested, especially as a New York actor, like going back to theater here?
Yeah.
I feel like you would just absolutely murder it. I would love
Tom Stoppard play, Ruffian in the Stairwell. There was some other play at Lincoln Center. But the people who were representing me were never,
Well, they want the check.
They wanted the check.
Yeah.
And I worked with the Irish rep doing, what's the word? Developing scripts with playwrights, and that was a lot of fun. A lot of readings, a lot of stage readings. Work at a place called the Actors Gym with Bobby Moresco.
Okay.
Anytime I could avail myself to reading somebody's script, to helping them, to doing a stage reading, a table read, like we talked about, sending the elevator back down. Doesn't have to go too far. But yeah, like help when you read something and you see the energy of somebody new with talent. You want to help them. You want to just fucking tear your heart out and just...
I know.
The ultimate for me would be giving my friends jobs. Yeah. And I can't do that. I was never able to, because by the time, you're looking like, oh, Joe would have been great for that role. But I don't know, because I'm just getting the script the same time as everybody else.
Right.
So that's the ultimate for me has always been like trying to help a friend. We do that. It's like, hey, dude,
it only works if we help each other.
Yeah, and it feels better too.
Totally.
Yeah. And these days, because there's such slim pickings, it'll pick up, I think, artistically and in terms of original work. I think it will pick up. It has to. Why wouldn't it? It's 2025. We have the instruments. We have the stories. Let's just continue to tell them. We don't need to be, superheroes throwing shields at each other. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it's not very interesting.
I don't want to gloss over some of the titans that you've worked with, like Spielberg and Clooney. I mean, talk to me about working with guys like that. Has that just been a dream come true?
Yeah, George Clooney is another guy I can't say enough about. I just saw him in Good Night and Good Luck on Broadway.
And you're in it, the movie? Yeah.
I'm not really in the movie. After 9/11, I didn't work for 1 year. My best friend was a fire captain. He was killed, and I was taking care of his apartment, his insurance, his car, the life that he had left on that morning. So smash cut to a year later, my agent said, "Oh, you have an audition for George Clooney. He's directing." And I was like, "Who?" And they said, "George Clooney." And I keep thinking it's Ronnie Howard. I don't know why.
I know, I have that. Yeah.
And I called him from a payphone. I'm like, "Who is it?" They're like, it's George Clooney. He's directing? Yeah. Why is he directing? He has a purpose. Anyway, I go upstairs, and it's to read this role. It's like Lieutenant Flagg on MASH. He's like this, crazy CIA guy. And I read it, and he's really laughing. He's really laughing. And I'm like still out of sorts. A year later, I don't think I'll ever be funny again. I was in a bad spot. And then he said to me, he goes, "What do you think of the premise?" And I said, "What premise is that?" And he said, that Chuck Barris was a CIA man. And I said, "I fucking no bearing on my life at all. If he was or if he wasn't, I couldn't give a shit." And these guys sitting behind George all go, and George goes, he goes, "See that? You come to New York, you ask a fucking question, you get an answer." I kind of thought I made a fool of myself, but I was just so like honest. And they called me and they're like, "He'd like you to do it." Now this man, I know for a fact, is very loyal to his friends.
Yeah.
And for him to have, broken off that character and given it to me was a huge gesture.
Yeah.
And so when I got up there to Montreal, and it's funny because the day we're shooting my scene, I throttled it back. And he's like, "Whoa, God, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I want to be in the same movie you're directing." And he goes, "No, dude, do what you did in the fucking audition."
Wow.
I was like, "Dude, it's too much." He goes, It's not. Tell me. It's this crazy monologue at the dating game where I just go fucking, he goes, "You got to do it. You got to do it." And I was like, okay. So I put the throttle back up and I left it there for the rest of the day. And then these other scenes. So there are certain people who see that film who think I play 3 different roles, but it's the same guy in 3 different capacities.
Got it.
And then George called for good night and good luck. He goes, I got this little role, you know, and I was like, I'm doing Rescue Me. I can't. Come on, you can do it. And I was like, and he's like, yeah. And so I go out there, I got this spear, I'm standing in the corner. I'm not really in the movie. He's like, you know.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then every time it would get something beefy, I'd have to fly back to New York to do Rescue Me, and they were breaking my balls too. Like, well, George, glad you carved out some time for us, Berkey boy.
Yeah.
So he was awfully great, and that, like I said, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind was the first job I did after 9/11.
Sam Rockwell's in that too, right?
Yeah. Fucking killing people.
Yeah.
He was just so funny, and there's a scene where he's eating like an egg salad sandwich, and it just flies out of his mouth, and he's like, you know, he's just so free.
Yeah.
And like his artistry, to me, it's just sheer risk taking. It's like going over the cliff and yelling, "Whoa!"
Literally.
I mean, I love that. I watch that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't know what he's going to do.
No. He's electric.
Yeah. He's got the stuff.
Well, I mean, I could talk to you about your career all day, but obviously for time, and you're going to have to come back because I could do a part two. But talk to me as I'm sure you started to see, like 2016, 17, business started changing. You know, as cable started to kind of have a question mark at the end of it, and streaming started to become the norm rather than did your agent or the auditions. Did you start trying to kind of, you know, as the Marvelification of the movie business, like? Did you start changing the way you approached choosing which things you wanted to go in for?
No. Mm-hmm. A weird thing happened where I started to get offers, and when
was that a first?
No, but it was becoming more pervasive. Where I'd see these two names on my phone, and I'm like, oh, that's good, and they're like, Robert, like this, and you know. Yeah. Then you have an offer here to do this. You have an offer here to do that. You have an offer here to do this. And it was like a good amount of jobs in a row that became offers, and they were all jobs that I would otherwise have gone on and really fought to get, like, you know, good solid supporting roles, and your gratitude just goes up through the roof. You're like, I must be doing something okay. And then the Mr., you know, don't fuck it up, boy. You know?
Yeah.
The preparation. Robert Downey gave an interview once. He said, you can wake me up in the middle of the night and I'll say it to you fucking backwards on my head. You know, and I like that type. There's some people like, no, you know, you knock on their trailer. Do you want to run this? No. I'm like, fuck you, you know. I want to beat it into the ground.
Yeah.
I want
Thank you for saying that.
Stomp on it.
Yeah.
And then, because now that we've done that, now we just
Have fun.
It's the, you know, we roll it and we see what happens. I'm not a guy who can just be like, let's see what happens. I'm like, because then I'm wasting his time, and the grips, the electrics, they got lives, they got children they got to get home to. I'm not sitting here jerking off doing wasted takes.
Yeah.
You know, and I really feel that. One of the greatest compliments I've ever gotten was showing up, a guy, he was the best boy. He said, oh, you're here. We're going home early.
Love that.
I was one of the best. I remember those things.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what a director says. Yeah, thank you. But when a crew member says to you, you're not wasting my, because I had a couple things happen with actors who were not prepared, and I didn't like it very much.
Yeah, who would? Yeah.
And so, because that's the respect you give them. You know, if you can crack up like a grip or something, like, then you're doing your job, you know. But it's because it can't happen by itself. And that's the respect you convey to them, is preparation. And conversely, them to you.
Well, thank you for sharing. I mean, I'm curious then, you know, jumping into the time, like, pandemic happens, the whole business changed, and eventually the strike, but for someone that excelled, and like most actors, I think, loved the live performance of auditions, how did it affect you when everything became self-tape? Did you have to figure out a new process for, I mean, because it just translates so differently.
It does. I'll be 65 years old. When I get something that says TGOT, I want to fucking shoot myself to go on tape. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It becomes this whole, because I don't have the system down. A lot of guys, But I do have an oldest son who is a film student. And
Not the one who's pursuing the...
Yes.
Oh, that
Yeah.
same one. Okay.
And I have 3 jobs now, whereas we shot to go on tape, and if you take the lighting and what I'm wearing and everything, you could just put it right into the real job, the real performance. The Last of Us, I sent them a tape, and it looks like the night I got the job and shot it. The color of what I'm wearing, the color behind me, everything looks the same. I just finished a film with Alejandro Inarritu.
The Tom Cruise one, right?
Yeah.
How was that?
That was, I can't even formulate. I still am trying to find words. It's very unusual to describe.
Yeah.
And I can't give anything away. Alejandro, I first read for that in 2017. Then I read for it in 2019. Then I read for it in 2022. And then I read for it 2024. 4 times over the course of 7 years.
Wow.
So I go to
always for the same role?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the role, and I go to Pinewood Studios, and I come into his office, and I'm waiting for him, and I'm looking around, and he comes in, and he goes, "There you are." And I went, "Fucking there you are." You know, like this. It's like, yeah. Can you imagine? I get there, and he's like, no, he's not good. My son shot the final audition I did, and it looks just like I look in the movie.
Yeah.
Then there's a job I didn't get because I was a little young. I was about 10 years too young. We broke into this church, this old church, and we shot. I was playing a white supremacist, with the tie. He's a pastor. And he's
Not in Black Klansman, right? No.
He's explaining, the supposition of being superior.
Yeah.
And I looked, my son sent me a picture, a still from the movie of the guy who got it. I don't even know who he is. But they look, so we're doing this thing where we're not sitting in front of a white fucking piece of whatever, or blue. You got to do, I feel that you have to do something with it.
Yeah.
We shot one the other day where I'm playing this kind of white supremacy gun store owner, and I have glasses on, and my son is shooting it this way, right into the sun. You can't even see my face. You can see this glint of my eyeglass every once in a while. I'm gonna have some artistry in there.
Yeah, you're having fun with it.
Because I believe they sit in the office and they go, "Oh, stop! What's that?" Do you know what I mean? As opposed to the background, the dull, lit, overlit.
Yeah.
Fuck that. That's what I say.
No, I think that's the stuff that stands out to casting.
Yeah,
now you can't do the blank backdrop, lighting.
You can do it.
You look like one of a million, and they're seeing more people than ever. It's just crazy. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, that's a secret.
Yeah.
I saw Val Kilmer in some of his old tapes, God rest him.
Tombstone, that's another one we didn't even get to talk about. Yeah.
That was a study in ensemble and forcing the project through. You have a writer, producer, director, an auteur, Kevin Jarre, who wrote it, who researched it, who was directing it, and he gets fired like a couple of weeks into the production. It's like, wow, what now? And then they brought in another guy, but it was Kurt Russell who directed that movie, and stayed up at night and got the shot list and really pushed the whole project through, I believe.
Yeah.
I can't verify it, but
yeah,
that was my sense. And he was another great guy. Like you're working with like an icon. Sometimes in my going to job and you see somebody like him and they're talking to you and like, oh, that's Kurt Russell. He's talking to me. What's he saying? Like this little monitor.
Yeah.
And that still happens, especially on the Inarritu movie. Tom Cruise is asking a question, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm so lucky. I'm not hanging off a plane with this guy right now. I'm on the ground and everything's okay. I'm in we shot mostly in a studio. I think completely in a studio. But wait till you see this guy. Holy crow. I have no idea how this movie's going to be edited. But I said, Mr. Cruise better get a little another little shelf ready for little golden statues.
Amazing.
Yeah. it's
That's so cool.
fantastic people in it, and yeah.
Well, tell me, you've done so much, and you've worked in so many different genres and mediums. Like, what's most exciting to you now?
Different projects have different properties of attraction. Sometimes it's the people, sometimes it's the location, sometimes it's the material, sometimes it's all. It can be an amalgam of any and all. But every job holds some fascination, some pocket of gratitude, some element of, I can't believe I get to do this.
Yeah.
I cannot fucking believe. I was supposed to be dead at 25. That's the God's honest truth.
Yeah.
And I'm not. You know what I mean? So, like, my gift back, that was a gift to me. My gift back is like early, kind, prepared, and risk taking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it's artistry. Then the other thing about auditioning is that you're either going to have a good day or a bad day, because it's art. It's not an exact science. It's art. So if you're going to beat yourself after an audition, that sucked. But I worked hard. If you worked hard on it, leave yourself alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just such wasted energy. I still do it.
Totally. I mean, I think
it's a human feature, because that's the way we leave the cave and hunt for meat. We hunt with art to feed ourselves to, and you're either going to have a good day or a bad day with it. So leave yourself alone with it, because it's this mercurial kind of endeavor. It's not like you're making
mercurial is the right word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but the fact that I've gotten to do it is just still, I'm going to be 65 years old. I still can't believe I do this. Honest to God, I still can't believe I do
You're
this.
so amazing, and it's just incredible, and I feel like the best is yet to come for you. But I ask every actor who's ever done this podcast this question. It's not an easy question, and I feel like, for the actors listening out there, we've seen, I could almost make an argument, in the last 2-3 years, shifts in this business that almost dwarf anything that has come in the 80, 90 years it's been a business. And, so many people heard the survive to 25, and we're here, the work isn't, fully where we thought it would be. Self-tapes are still the only way in. This local market, and by local market, I mean, it used to be New York or LA, now it's Atlanta, UK, Budapest. You're competing against a global scale. If you were starting now, or for the actors listening, any words of wisdom or advice you might have for them?
First thing is to train, because all that other stuff is the business. It's show business. So take care of the show part first. Train. Don't think you can fucking walk in here.
An influence.
You can.
Yeah.
And you can make $1 billion.
Yeah.
Look at the statistics of the percentage of that success. It's very, very low.
Totally.
And I'm that, there's got to be a pragmatic side to it. You have to take it seriously as a craft. And that's all like stereotypical sounding, but it's not. Because, I've met so many people in life like, Jimmy could have been an actor, right, Jimmy? It's like, no, fucking Jimmy could not be an actor.
Yeah.
Train. Get into a class. Train. Listen. It's 2025. Every class in the world is online. Watch. Look at good performances. Look at the old performances. Now, marry that with the business part of it. Learn how to go on tape. Submit yourself to film schools. They're always looking for actors to do their short films. Why? Well, because they're going to try to make the best film they can in 8 minutes, and you're going to get a fucking reel out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's a very practical. I always suggest to people, get your headshot, submit it to NYU or somewhere.
Columbia. Yeah.
I did Columbia short films. I did NYU short films.
I saw you were in one, not even like Triggered, right? Didn't you do a short?
Yeah, that wasn't ostensibly a student film. But I do a couple of shorts every year.
Yeah.
Why? I like them.
Yeah.
Can I convey in like 4.5 minutes what I need to? It's the artistic gym. It's like you're working out. You're just trying to always build and challenge yourself. So short films are great. Don't ever apologize for them. I only did a short. Bullshit. Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's work. It's our craft. So stay in it. Stay in it. There's this artificial overlap that we lay. I gotta be a star by. Look at Pedro Pascal right now.
I know.
I mean,
you just got to work with him. Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
Nicest man I think I've ever met. Funny. But then all of a sudden the acting comes serious. Like, he takes the work seriously, not himself though.
Yeah.
And even meeting him, I'm in the gym of the hotel and he comes in and he walks. I said, oh my God, there he is. There's only he and I.
Yeah.
And he walks right by me and he goes into this other room, and after 3 minutes he comes out. He's like, Robert. I'm like, you know my name. It's like Robert Burke. And I said, yeah. He goes, I'm Pedro. I said, hello. And he said, oh, we have a great friend, Bill Sage, this other actor. I said,
Bill Sage, awesome actor. Yeah.
He's like, I just got off the phone with him. And so he starts talking about him and Bill doing their first film together. And he starts coming down from my perception of who he is to he's just an artist who struggled mightily.
Yeah.
And he's here now. And then when I tell you he's here now, I mean, like when he looks at you, he's here. Beautiful. I can't wait to work with the guy, do a scene with him.
Yeah.
And more power. He's the classic example. Stay in there and be honest with yourself. Have something to fall back on. That's another thing. Because you need health insurance, you need these types of things. You have to be an adult about life. There was a time you and I, we could get a room over. The prices are so gone through the roof
it's
now.
Insane.
Those times are becoming less tangible. But train as an actor in terms of your craft. Do whatever it is. Do short films, little films, and then get good at going on tape, and use those tapes for a reel and submit the reel. Send it. My son has even experienced this. Well, I don't want to be perceived as. What are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Dude, call, send it.
Totally.
Well, it's like if I could do it,
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, fuck you. Push. And because it's you're an actor, you're trying to be you're not hurting anybody,
Yeah.
you're not shooting anybody, you're just trying to move your career and your work experience forward. That's all. So don't apologize for that. Don't fire from behind a wall. If you want a job, go in there. See, I didn't go in and supplicate like, hi, how are you? Like, I'd like this. No, fuck me. I went in and if I wanted that job, I took that job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was it. The energy I'm bringing is, dude, just call my agent, tell me, not in a preposterous way.
No, totally.
But, if I wanted something, you knew I wanted it coming in that room.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I have enjoyed talking to you so much. I could talk to you for hours. You have to come back and do a part 2 whenever it comes out next. I
can't tell that to my wife. Part 2. They want a part 2. Yeah. Anyway.
You're an amazing actor. And really, I mean, from the bottom of my heart, you coming on here today, giving back and the work, and like, I've stolen from you. This business only works by inspiration, I really think.
I saw the list of the guys you had in here and gals you had in here, and I was like, whoa. How am I only arriving here now? But I respect it because I was listening, and I was like, it was all about helping somebody and rendering hope and a way and a machine and to make these things tangible. Because it's a nice life. It's a hard life. It's a gypsy life.
Yeah.
But if you can soften somebody's path so they don't have to bang themselves in the head.
That's literally why I created this. So one person that's in my shoes could feel less pain than I did starting out.
You're a success then.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. And to be continued. And last thing I'll ask you is anything. I know you talked about the Inter 2 film, but anything you want to plug?
No. The Inter 2 film we just finished in May. I think I was supposed to be on it for 3 months. I turned out to be 7 months.
Wow.
It was an opportunity of a lifetime. Pollenwood Studios every day. Met a bunch of actors from the UK who were just fucking just
amazing,
deadly people. And Jesse Plenums, Emma Darcy, Riz Ahmed, John Goodman, Michael Stuhlbarg.
Wow.
Just, I mean, like fucking everybody
Are you
was
kidding me?
everybody throwing haymakers.
Yeah.
Like literally you had to like haymakers. There was a guy that acted there, Pip Torrens, and in the series The Crown, he plays this the fixer of the Palace Hotel, Tommy La Sala, in like the 1910s, 20s, and 30s and everything. And honest to God, I had no idea who this guy was. And I was watching this performance, and I say to my wife, he's cutting people's heads off. They don't even realize it until the next scene. I couldn't believe the work. It appealed to me.
Wow.
It's all subjective. But the work this guy was doing, and I'm like, holy fuck, this guy's really... And I get over there, and I'm looking at this guy, and then I realize it's him.
No way.
Mr. Torrance. So I'm like fanboy, and he's like, oh, Robert, please. And I was like, no. So there was just this beautiful experience of meeting like a modern day Tom Pelfrey.
Yeah.
Same thing. Oh my God.
Incredible.
And let me just say, Shea Wingham. So he does this thing, American Primeval, and he plays this character who's he has an outpost and everything. When I was a child, everybody who's talked about in Ireland is somebody. Everybody is somebody. Even the guy, the lowest, he's somebody. And this guy's somebody. The mailman, he's somebody. Modern day actors don't get that. And I looked at Shea's performance in this thing, and it just like blew my head off. I was like, oh my God, let's make a movie about that guy.
Totally.
But I'm telling you, because he just throws it away. The whole thing.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of experience, but you have to have the talent to be able to, the texture and the layers of your own psyche to do that. And I said to my wife, I said, boy, it's an affirmation that people can do performances like that. So anyway, I don't know why I'm going off on that, but
no, it's amazing.
I still love.
You love acting, and you love actors,
and I love when I see it done. It's just like, oh God,
It's what keeps us in it.
Yeah.
Well, Robert John Burke, thank you so much, man.
You got it, buddy.
And I got to save some for part 2, so to be continued.
All right, buddy.